All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Void. My name is Brennan.
I'm Tyler.
And we are your host of this podcast where you will hear and learn about anything and everything, potentially nothing.
Yep.
So hope that you've been enjoying the podcast so far up until this point. We wanted to do something today to just kind of get the wheels turning. Maybe something that's new that we try. Maybe it flops. I don't really know. But we are going to look at Twitter and see what is trending right now. And in 2 minutes, we're just going to discuss what's trending in the world right now. Tyler, I haven't looked this morning.
I haven't either. I check Twitter like once a month. So
this is not like I'm loaded. So
unidentified aerial phenomena.
Area 51, real or not?
I mean, it's real.
But like UFOs.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Area 51 is a Air Force testing facility.
The conspiracy under Denver Airport.
Real tunnels. Real lizard people? I'm not sure about that one.
Okay, stay tuned for that episode. Let's see what else there is.
These are trash.
Yeah, these are really bad.
I mean, you have like aerial phenomena, then you have like Tuesday Vibe and The Opportunity.
I've seen WWE Monday Night Raw trending for like 3 days straight.
Dude.
I didn't know people still watch that.
Don't get me... I have people that I love that watch WWE, so I'm not going to go there.
Okay, here's something. Let me make sure this is what I think it is. Washington Post elections. Isn't Bezos buying the Washington Post or bought the Washington Post?
I don't know. I thought he already owned everything.
Well, somebody fact check that for me in the comments. But
how was Jordan Peterson? Dude's been trending for like 4 years. That's amazing.
I know. What do you think you have to do in order to get trending? Like, do you have to
100% be controversial?
So you don't have to say anything that matters.
Yeah, you do. Controversial, like, because if you say water's wet, nobody's gonna care. Controversial that matters. Look at our last TikTok that we were talking about. You know, we uploaded a TikTok yesterday that's already like absolutely crushing everything else we've ever posted because it's controversial. So now I'm exclusively gonna post controversial stuff.
I love TikTok theologians.
Oh, dude, they're the best.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, no, TikTok theologians are awesome because everyone's got their own, like, you know, if theology is like a large pizza and there's like 12 slices, everyone's just so committed to like the one slice.
Oh yeah.
And when they're arguing, they don't realize like they're all actually right. They're all contributing to the same pizza.
It's like, have you never had Domino's?
Yeah.
Or,
dude, I'm glad you said Domino's instead of Papa John's.
Yeah.
Papa John's is trash.
Yeah, I'm not. We don't even have to go there, but Papa John's is terrible, and I will stand by that.
Yeah, I agree.
Today, what are we talking about?
Man, I think we should talk about, I don't know how I want to word it. I think we should talk about like personal responsibility.
Okay.
Me and you were talking about this yesterday. What it means, or I guess what it takes to be successful. I mean, this could easily turn into a 45-minute conversation, but what it takes is take control of your life.
Yeah.
Because we talk about that all the time. And in ministry, that's like one of the first things you learn. Mm-hmm. When you do any kind of ministry training or sit under somebody, you're going to learn about the Bible and you're going to learn about theology, but just as much you're going to learn about like how to own your schedule.
Yeah. It's like number 3.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Because ministry can be really, because you're in charge. A lot of times you're pitching your own vision. It can be very low accountability. So when you're in ministry, you have to take control of your schedule.
Yeah.
And I know that's something that you're really passionate about.
Yeah. And thinking about just kind of whatever people decide to do. This idea that I said this to you in a spiritual sense of, you know, you are as close to God as you want to be.
Yeah.
And God is unmoving, God is unchanging, but your relationship to God, you determine the proximity. And I think the same is true for like our schedules or whatever it is we're doing in life, but taking ownership. What makes me so upset is when we blame other people, other circumstances, seasons of life as reasons why we can't be successful. And success is like this word, I guess, that someone's like, well, define success,
Right,
because
yeah.
success to you, I don't mean like make a lot of money or acquire a bunch of things. I mean contributing to an impactful, healthy life.
Yeah, and like hitting your own personal goals too.
Yeah, setting a goal and hitting it.
Yeah.
Not just being, what was the phrase you said like episode 1 that people thought was so funny?
Oh, a potato?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be a potato.
Not
for sure.
being a potato.
Yeah. It's easy to fall into. I think that like now, and we're in speaking of seasons of life, we're in this season of life. I mean, I don't know that it's specifically in America. I know it's probably worldwide, but specifically in America, motivation I feel like is at an all-time low across the board. Especially, I know every week we're just like dogging young people, and we're really not. We love young people, but especially in young people, you look at the statistics, and motivation and drive is at an all-time low. So, and that breaks my heart. I know it breaks yours. So it's like, man, how do we encourage young people to really just take control of their lives without sounding like that old dad or football coach? It's like, just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what's so hard, because we want, we tell all of our students, we want you to be successful. We want you to take initiative. We want you to get up and read your Bible and take control of your prayer life and, reach your goals and start making a plan. But I think sometimes they hear that and they almost feel like attacked.
Yeah.
So where's the disconnect between people who are like, you need to take control of your life, and the people who feel like they're just getting yelled at? You know what I mean?
Oh, I think the breakdown is ownership.
Yeah.
Honestly. It sounds kind of mean, but
It's true though.
I mean what I'm about to say might sound mean. But at the end of the day, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
Like I was, I'm in the middle of typing a bunch of final papers and stuff like that. And one of my downsides, flaws, and when I'm trying to do homework or deep work or something like that is, dude, I can get to YouTube in a hurry.
Dude.
And like 5 minutes later, before I know it, I'm watching Rory McIlroy hit fans with errant tee shots and stuff like that. But
That's so funny.
But I had to literally last night, I'm telling myself, I'm clicking over to YouTube and I'm just telling myself, no.
Yeah.
No, you get off.
Yeah.
you can't do that. And so when it comes to some of the stuff that we're talking about, reading, let's just start with reading your Bible.
Yeah.
Do it.
Right.
You will always, and I would say this to a teenager, someone in their 20s, and I think people that are much older than us would say, yes, absolutely. There will never come a season in your life where you're like, oh my word, I have so much time.
Yeah.
I have so much disposable time.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk to retired people, they're like, it's like, what did you do today? And I don't know, it was a busy day.
Right.
It's like, you stopped working 10 years ago. What do you mean it was a busy day?
Yeah. And if you do have any free time, it ain't going to be till you're retired. And even then, like you're saying, have you heard, about it's like the something triangle. It's like the energy triangle or something like that. And it explains how you have time, money, and energy. And so when you're young, when you're really young, you've got time and energy but no money. When you're an adult, you've got money and energy but no time. Then when you're retired, you've got time and money but no energy. And so it constantly moves around. But
yeah,
I mean, that really is the case. I think that, time is that's the biggest myth is once I get through this season and I'm the woman I love the most, my wife is always saying that. Well, let me just get through this season. I'm almost finished with this. Once I get past this, and I asked her the other day, this is what person I am. I said, are you ever tired of being almost there? You keep thinking you're almost there, but you're going to be almost there till you die. That's the way it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I found that out a couple years ago too, because I was, Claire's listening. This girl, I feel you. I was right there thinking, because I was using it as a reason to be a terrible husband.
Yeah.
And Corey's like, are you ever gonna spend time with me?
Thinking you're on the brink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm it's camp season. Let me just get through camp, or let me just get through all these different things. And then it dawned on me of there's always something that is eating my time.
Yeah.
So going back
true.
to kind of what we're talking about, if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. I think we rely too much on motivation.
That's interesting. Unpack that a little bit, because that sounds like super controversial.
I think we rely too much on motivation because, that's why everybody starts hobbies, stops hobbies. Mm-hmm. Starts working out, stops working out. Because we kind of follow these ebb and flows of motivation. I'm motivated, or I'm inspired to do this.
Oh, I see. Like, you have to be motivated to get something done. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like, the people that are, let's take fitness. Look at some of the people that are the most fit, not just like, unhealthy, but like holistic lifestyle. They eat clean. They're highly disciplined in their work. They highly disciplined in their fitness life. They will tell you time and time again, it's not about feeling like they want to work out. They've trained themselves in the discipline of, no, this is what I do so that I can live the life that I want.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think when you apply that to anything, spiritually.
Yeah.
I think about some people that are listening right now that are in high school. Thinking about, well, when I get to college, or when I get to, out of college, I can do this, that, or the other. Why?
Right.
Like, why would you waste that amount of time where you could be disciplined, you could grow, you could do this, but you're going to waste a season, we use that word a lot, waste a season being undisciplined just because you're not motivated to do that?
Yeah, right.
I kick myself all the time thinking about all the things I could be good at now. Had I at 18 been like, I'm going to take a step in that direction today.
Wow, I'm so weak. I started working out a couple months ago. I've quit since then, by the way. But I started working out a few months ago, and I'm so weak. And the first thing that comes into my mind is, dude, if I'd have been doing 20 push-ups a day for a year, I would be jacked, but I'd be so much like where I want to be. And I think you're exactly right. Sometimes if you wait until you're motivated, you just won't ever do it.
Yeah.
You won't ever do it. And I think that's, we're taught so much in today's world. Get motivation, follow your heart, take care of yourself, follow this, listen to that inner voice, whatever.
Yeah.
And you look up and you realize, my inner voice, my heart is deceitful above all things, and I haven't, I'm not on track to be where I want to be. And so, at first when you said that, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But when you explain it seriously, I think that's true. We rely way too much on motivation. Sometimes you ain't gonna have any motivation.
Yeah.
If every day that I didn't feel like doing anything, I stayed home.
Yeah.
I'd be at home 5 days a week because I'm an introvert. And if anyone who's an introvert understands that feeling, you may not because you're an extrovert, but literally the feeling of like something you've had planned all week, whether it's a party or a get together, and you're just like, I really just don't want to go. I do not want to see people. Just because you're not motivated doesn't mean you can't do it. You got, like you said, you got to just do it.
Yeah.
Not sponsored by Nike, by the way. But you got
we
to.
haven't said just do it a lot. I didn't even catch that. Yeah.
So I guess my question for you is like, how? Because like we said last week when you were like, seek community, and I'm like, how? Same thing with just do it. Like, you don't need motivation. Yeah. You don't want to feel like it. Do it. What is a good first step for someone listening to this, or even for me and you? What do you do to help yourself get through that when you just don't feel like doing something, but it's got to be done? How does it get done? Because I know ever since I've known you, I've always admired you for the way you take control of your schedule. And I know that you're grinding. I mean, I've gotten more 1 and 2 a.m. texts from you in the past week than I have ever. And I'm like, that's how I know you're getting it done. So how do you really just bear down and get it done?
Well, that's quite a compliment, but you need a plan. So I'm going to say this thought is inspired by one of my favorite pastors, Jamie Chavez. But he did a whole podcast on leaders needing a schedule. And so maybe you're like, I'm not a leader. What? You still need a schedule. So
true.
Plan it, because if you don't plan it, you won't do it. I think when we don't plan things, then we are subject to the coming of motivation.
100%.
I'll do it if I'm motivated, but if not, then it ain't gonna happen because it's not scheduled. Yesterday, I have these assignments I'm trying to work through, and sitting down and writing what I'm writing about is mind-numbing. And switching gears is even more difficult. But because I put it in a plan, 1:30 came, and the notification comes across, you need to start working on this now. I knew, okay, that's what I'm going to do because it's there.
Don't know what you're talking about. The council at Nicaea is like riveting stuff. I do honestly feel so bad for you.
It's okay. We can nerd out about it later.
Yeah.
Google Council of Nicaea and tell us your favorite parts about it. But need a plan, and then I think I don't want to give too many steps. One, because then it's not practical.
Yeah.
Two, because I'm not an expert. I'm still trying to get better at managing my time. But I think get a plan, and then get somebody around you that can help you stay accountable to that plan. So
that's key.
If you're married, and your spouse is not supportive of the plan, whether that's time, diet, exercise, good luck keeping the plan.
Right.
Especially if you have kids. If you're a teenager, get your best friend. If you're a teenage believer, get your small group leader or whatever it is. But get somebody that can help encourage you along the way. The greatest strides I made in fitness post-college was when the last church I was working at, shout out Luke Harper, Luke started running. And because Luke and I worked on the same team, and he was my boss, we were very competitive.
Yeah.
So I never thought I was going to run. But Luke started running. And I was like, I'm not going to let him be a better runner than me.
Yeah.
So I started running.
Yeah.
Well, it was also like mid-COVID. So it's like, what else do I have to do? Well, before long, we had like a group of people on our staff that were a part of this quote-unquote run club. And because we were following this plan and we had a group of people, dude, running was like clockwork.
Yeah.
Super easy. But Luke is still a substantially better runner than me.
Is he?
He's like 6'4", and I'm at a disadvantage because I'm short. But no, he's a better runner. But yeah, I think get a plan, get somebody that can help you with it.
I think that's great. I think the accountability part is huge. So, by the way you explained it, I mean, it sounds like me and probably everybody else. Would you summarize it as sometimes like a battle between like you and you, or however you want to phrase that? Spirit versus flesh, you versus you, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1,000%.
I agree. It's you fighting yourself. I think the biggest mistake, and I was talking, I had coffee this morning with Johnny, and we were talking about this, and I was like, what I learned in ministry is the biggest mistake you can make, or really not even in ministry. I've learned this in ministry, but this is relevant all across the board. The biggest mistake you can make is just assuming you'll get it done when it matters. Mm-hmm. Just assuming you'll rise to the occasion, you'll get it done.
Yeah.
Assuming like when it matters, I'll make it happen. I don't really need those steps. I don't need those action plans because when I need to get it done, I'll get it done.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, you won't. If you don't like you're saying, if you don't take that plan, which I'm not a planner. I mean, I am now.
Yeah.
But naturally, kind of like what we talked about last week, being an introvert, extrovert. You can label yourself as an introvert. Well, you can label yourself as I'm just not a planner. You can't do that. You can't. I mean, it's not something that you can just. You have to plan ahead. You have to man your schedule. You've got to make it easy for yourself to get stuff done.
Yeah. Two things I would add to that is that social media has made discipline look really attractive. So you see people that are crushing it.
That's facts.
Their aesthetic is great. They got a wide following, millions of subs, all these different things. They've made discipline, because they're doing videos about discipline.
Yeah.
They've made it attractive. But that's false.
Right.
Like they got there because they were willing to do the work when nobody was looking and get up when they were tired and stay longer when they wanted to go home. They got there. Secondly, social media is a liar.
Yeah.
So
True.
You're not seeing the blood, sweat, and tears in it all. Oh, here was the other thing I was going to add. Don't blame anybody else because you're not successful.
Yeah.
Take that however you want, but the greatest lessons that I'm learning is it's nobody's fault but yours.
Yeah.
If you're not disciplined, it's your fault. If you got fired, it's your fault.
Yeah.
If you're not growing, it's your fault. It's nobody else's fault but yours. Even if it's not your fault.
Right.
I think you grow more as a person taking ownership and responsibility
100%.
than saying, well, you don't know the team I was working on.
Right.
And the people I had around me. No, man, I'm just that we were talking.
Dude.
That's the coach in me. That's like,
Yeah.
Get up, get it done. My dad used to always say, talking about baseball and even golf applies. Like, the game is won in the 5 inches between your ears.
Yep.
That's what he always used to say.
True.
So yeah, you can apply that in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I'm glad you threw that caveat in there about like it's not always like your fault because that statement sounds super accusatory and condemning, but it's really not. And I think to kind of like word it a different way, even if it's not directly your fault, there's always, always, always something you could have done better.
Yeah.
If your mentality is, and to go off on a rabbit hole, kind of what you're talking about, I'm just gonna be honest. That's what we do on The Void. We're honest. Those are my least favorite people. The people that always find someone to blame, or they always find a way for it not to be their fault.
Yeah.
Even if you did get shafted.
Yeah.
Even if you did get a horrible hand dealt to you, which odds are you probably didn't, but whatever, let's say you did. There's always something that you could have done better. So instead of looking at, even if say like you had a toxic work environment, you had a boss that fired you for a crappy reason, okay? The direct cause of you getting fired is not your fault. What are the indirect causes? What are the things you learned? What are the things that you could have done better? What are the things that you could have done to avoid that whole conflict?
Yeah.
I think that learning, and when you don't learn, you don't take responsibility. And so I think, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, being objective, it's really hard to do,
Right.
but being objective, looking at yourself and saying, what could I have done? What can I do in the future to take control of my life? Because I'm going to be honest, some people, you want someone to blame. You shouldn't want anyone to blame. You can sit there and blame everybody else, but you should want to get it to a point to where it was me. I had nobody to blame but myself. You can take control of your circumstances. You can take control of your life, and you can stop blaming other people, all by learning and taking responsibility.
Yeah, what you're saying, we were talking about this, is interesting how that has shifted generationally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm not going to go into it because I don't know as much as I think I know. But at least that's what Corey tells me, which is true and needed. You need somebody to humble you.
Right.
But when you look at, let's go as far back as Xers. What's the line now? Generation X, like 40?
X.
Something like that?
Like age?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like 82, I think, or 80, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Year.
So you like 40 is usually like the baseline. Millennials now are like 38, 37, something like that. So let's just say 40 to 60.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them worked jobs from the ground up. Like the really successful ones are the ones that started literally at the bottom.
Yeah.
And they've either worked their way up or just made it happen.
Right.
There was, I've never heard somebody, literally, to this day, I've never heard somebody in that generation give me a reason why they weren't successful.
Right. Yeah.
like it was every single time it's been about, overcoming adversity, not quitting, leaning in when it got difficult, but also this understanding of like nobody thought it was going to be easy in the first place.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
there was
Right.
never a thought that they were like, oh, life is going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, no, this is what I do as a young person. I grind.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want people to hear this and think that we are saying we want you to be miserable
Right.
and not rest and all of these different things. But I think what we are saying is that we have to find there's a middle of the road here that I think has to happen culturally, where we used to be, boomers were like worked union jobs for 70 years and 60 hours a week and didn't see their families and retired and make $300 a month now because that's just what they did. And then there's also been like this generational swinging of the pendulum now to where it's like, I only want to work in a field that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, you don't have to work that hard.
Yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make my own way and work my own time and work for myself and all these different things, which is great. Go make the biggest business, make the most money in the world. Just tithe it to your local church.
Right.
But be successful.
Yeah.
But I think we have to understand that what that's doing to a lot of us is we're not learning what it's like to lean in when it's hard anymore. Yeah. So, and I think that's visible throughout the last few years in our culture in general. So, anyway, that's all I got.
So, two thoughts to what you said. One, I agree 100%. But two is, what do you say about the people what do you say in response to the people who say that culture is toxic? Like the pick yourself up by the bootstraps. It's no one's fault but your own. Get it done. Because I think a lot of young people that's kind of like those are kind of buzzwords, and there's a lot of people that I know that say that culture is super toxic. You would say?
I would say don't paint the whole culture with a broad stroke. There has been toxic things that have come out of it. You read about some of them.
Yeah.
But I would also say to young people, a lot of the life that they are able to live now and the things they've had afforded to them are because their parents and their grandparents didn't quit.
Yeah.
They leaned in. So sure, I'm not saying everything about the culture of just wake up at 6, get home at 8 is good and well. I think we do need to kind of have more rest and things of that nature, but I think we've swung too wide.
Yeah, I agree.
I really do. So
that's correct, man. Those are great thoughts. Hope you enjoyed this conversation. Subscribe on YouTube, our social media, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at ILPC Youth. Follow us on Apple Podcast and Spotify at The Void. Drop a comment. Make sure to rate it, leave a like, and we'll see you at the next episode.